Today I'm working on a 1/32 jig, and this jig is basically used for shooting dogs. That's what all these are going to be tied for. Going to be tying them on a 1/32 jig head with a #2 sickle hook. These jigs can be tied using the squirrel tail, which I'm going to tie today, and also you can tie this same jig using hackle. This is a chartreuse hackle, and this is a squirrel tail that I dyed. It's kind of a light olive on the tails, but works for the same purpose. So what we're going to start off with is a green or chartreuse powder painted jig head. We're going to be using 210 Danville's flat wax nylon thread. What we're going to do is start a thread, and I'm going to run it halfway between the jig head and the hook point. That's going to be our stopping point. So we're going to run that back and run it back up halfway. Alright, using the squirrel tail, what I like to do is put super glue on the thread. That's going to tie in the squirrel tail where it don't slide out. There's a lot of problem with tying this kind of a hair, because it will slide out of the hook if you ain't careful. So what we're going to do is place it right on top, put 2 wraps, and then just kind of stitch the hair down to where it's going to glue onto the hook. Then run it back up halfway again. Right, I'm using a white goose hackle for the white on the bottom of this, on this particular jigs. What I try to do is get about a 1/2 inch of the feathers, or the fibers off of the feather, and that's going to basically be about 1 inch, and that's going to be the length of your finger. So we're going to tie that right on the bottom. That'll give you a white line, just like a bait fish would have on the bottom. I'm going to use some chartreuse flash, crystal flash. I'm using 4 strands on this particular jig. I'm going to break it to the end of the tail and cut it off. Alright, now you're ready to go ahead and finish wrapping your thread body. You want to bring it all the way up to the top. Now when you're wrapping this, make sure that you got all your material covered, and it's just your body is solid white. You don't want none of that material showing through on your jig. Alright, then whip finish it. And when you whip finish, don't put your wraps right on top of each other. Kind of work your way back down the jig, and you won't have that big clob of thread. Put you about 5 wraps, tighten it up. That'll give you a nice finished head right there. Alright, I'm going to paint these eyes on, and this is kind of a 3-stage process. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use a black and then a white. And what I do with these, I've got some tools that I've cut from aluminum and also metal. I've got them running down to pin head size or pin tip size, all the way back up to 1/4. This particular one is aluminum. It's 3/32. That's going to be the black, and for the white, I'm going to use one that's half that size. And I've got this marked as a 20. And like I said, I've got a set that runs from 23 all the way back down to 1/4, and I've got them all marked. And that little piece of wood is stuck up in there, and then epoxied on there. So what we're going to do is put this jig back in there, and I'll show you how to paint them eyes. Right, all we do is shake that paint up, and that's going to leave some paint in the top. So that's what I'm going to use, is that paint that's in the top of the canister. We're going to dip our little rod in the paint, and what we're going to do is just touch that head on both sides, so that gives you your black paint side. I've got a towel right here somewhere. Okay, I'm going to lay this one out, because you got to let that paint dry before you put your other on. This is just so y'all can see what's going on. Alright, then I'm going to do my white the same way. Shake it up, and there's going to be white paint in the cap. So I'm just going to dip that. Then I'm going to dot them eyes. Bam, bam. So there's your white of your eyes dotted. Okay, and you have to let that dry also. So I've already done some to be able to show you. So I'm gonna put this one back in. It's already got the black and the white, and it's dried. So what we're gonna do is take any clear fingernail polish. It don't have to be Sally Hansen. Any stuff. I buy these at a dollar store or either a Dollar Tree. They're $1 a bottle, and it works perfect for coating these eyes. And what you want to do is load up your brush, because you don't want to be brushing around these eyes, because the nail polish will dissolve the eyes if you go to brushing around. So you want to load up that brush and make one sweep over them, and then hit your threads on that neck and coat them. Alright, flip it over, load up your brush again, make one sweep over them eyes, and then brush your thread. So that's sealing off your neck plus sealing off them eyes. Don't do nothing else to that head, because you don't want to disturb the eyes on them. And then when you hang it, all this polish is going to run down. It's going to make a nice looking head.